What's going on, guys? Brett here for another math tutorial. So today we're going to be looking at the differences between domain and range and how we can identify them. We're going to look at the words for domain and the words for range. So a few things that you need to know. Domain is defined as the x value. So basically it's the x value. It's the independent variable. Range is defined as the y value, so it's the dependent variable because it's dependent on the x value. So here we're going to look at putting all of these and placing them in the right order so that you can familiarize yourself with all the different words for domain and all the different words for range. Okay, well, the first one is we said that x was the domain. We said that in the definition, and we said that range was the y value, and that was the definition there. Well, another word for the x is the input. So it's the input. So if someone gives you input values, that's the domain. And quite the opposite, if someone gives you the output values, that's the range. Now we're left with independent and dependent. Well, independent is another word for x. Dependent is a word for range because it's y equals something that you do to the x. It's dependent on whatever you do to the x. Now we've got this one here. Now f of x stands for a function of x. And if it's a function of x, can it be x? And the answer is no, because it's a function of whatever you've done to x. So it has to go in y. In fact, in some mathematical circles, quite a lot of the time, you will see them use the y value and the f of x interchangeably. So you may see f of x equals 2x plus 5, but that's exactly the same as y equals 2x plus 5. So you might see y equals 4x plus 7, but that's exactly the same as me writing f of x equals 4x plus 7. You can use these terms interchangeably. It doesn't make a difference. Okay, the next thing we're going to look at is the domain and range of a function. So we're going to identify them from a graph. And this is actually really easy because you're used to reading ordered pairs and finding coordinates. So we know that the coordinate of this is the x value first, which is 1, because that's where it is, and it is 5 high and 5 on the y value. So all we're going to do is put our domain, which is our x value there, and our range, which is our y value, right here. So we've got 1 and 5. Okay, the next one we're going to look at is this dot here. What's the coordinate? Well, it's 3 and 5. So we're going to put 3 and 5 would be our coordinate. So our domain is 3 and 5. Now we're on to this coordinate. Well, x value is 4, y value is 2, so our coordinate is 4, 2. And then finally, we'll look at this value. We know that our x value is 6, it's just regular 6, and our y value is -2. So our coordinate that we'd have would be 6, -2. So our domain would be 6. Our range would be -2. What we tend to do with domain and range is we tend to make sure that the domain is in numerical order and the range is affected from that. Okay, have a great day, guys. Make sure you have a go at the questions on this post on Brett Math.